Hey, the coach, how you doing? The same one. Hey, just now that you've had some time to sort of maybe digest the season, just your macro and sort of micro thoughts on what you guys went through this season, and what do you think this team needs to do to get a little bit further next year?
Yeah, if you look at, specific performances, we had new All-Star and Gabby, Sky and Nneka playing at a All-Star level, all WNBA level, the emergence of Dom, a lot of really, positive attributes. Erica Wheeler having one of her career seasons in numbers, Ezi coming along at the tail end of the season. A lot of good that happened. Our August wasn't so productive, but those are close games for us. Those are games that we, had to go through in order to have a pretty productive September. And think, if you think about, the progress of the players that we did have on our roster, a lot of first times for, our players. I think overall to be able to be one possession away from beating Vegas is very positive going through what we went through. Not having Lou, not having Jordan, huge pieces, and Nneka, huge pieces to our roster. I think that's what we missed. Floor spacer, another athletic perimeter defender. And, I think just a bucket getter is another bucket getter is, important for this roster. And if you look at, the things that we were positive in, our defense was very strong. Rebounding was our deficiency all season, and that's an area of improvement. Offensively, we shot the three decently with the roster that we had and found some ways to be productive in transition, play out of our defense. So there are a lot of positives in that category, in those categories. And so I'll just kind of point to getting healthy and getting the roster that we intended to have and adding some more depth in our 3-point shooting and a go getter.
Unusual off season this year where very few players are signed. You don't
Mhm.
even know for sure what the rules are going to be with the CBA up. Does that change kind of the conversations that you're having players, today?
Yeah, it does. It's a lot of uncertainty in a lot of areas, and haven't spoke to the players yet. Will after this, but it's just kind of decompressing the season. Understanding what off season looks like for every player, and um, wanting to be as communicative as possible. The reality of it is we don't know until we do know, and the waiting game is going to be tough. But until we are really clear with the path forward looks like, then that's when we can attack everything else.
You mentioned the rebounding. As a coach, when you relook at the film now, I mean, is there some sense of like there was a missing there in the messaging, or was it more the execution? Was it a little bit of both?
Rebounding is something that to me isn't something that is you work on every day in practice, boxing out and pursuit of basketball. A lot of that is to talk to you about the intangibles of it, like going to get basketballs. I thought that our rebounding in the last 10, 15 improved. We trended positively. And it is, having, a lot of times early on in the season, we're small in the backcourt. We're missing a Jordan and a Lou who can at that particular position can go get basketballs. It's not only relying on our post players to get it, but having a team effort and guard personnel to go get that as well. And yeah, it is sometimes more about a desire and a heart thing to go pursue basketballs than a fundamental thing to box out, go pursue basketballs. But at the end of the day, you think about, it's a part of the game that isn't constantly worked with on every single day, like your shooting, like your X and O's, like your overall your defense is part of your defense and it's just a mentality.
Kevin took my question a little bit, but following up on that, just how and when do you even start free agency conversations, knowing that so much of your roster is unsigned and that a lot of players will not sign until there is a new CBA?
Yeah, I think it's about, the connectivity of the group and relying on, the foundation that we've built. At the end of seasons, like players are ours still. You're able to come and work out in the facility if you want and things like that. So just relying on our core group and in our relationships to be communicative and understand what we want to continue to build here.
Coach, obviously, anytime you've got a rookie with the potential of Dom, there's a lot of excitement. People want to see her right away, but you guys stuck to your plan with her, and obviously it looked like it paid off. Just how happy were you with the way you executed that and,
Yeah.
making sure that you taught her the right way and brought her along the way that, your guys' plan laid out?
Yeah, it was a process to it. And at the end of the day, Dom is on the floor in crucial moments because of how we were very intentional about the process. And the beginning of the season, you don't want to put a 19-year-old on the floor without a lot of reps. Understanding the physicality of the game, you're going against vets and pros who know how to play against rookies and what it takes to just be very successful in this league. Dom was super committed to the process as well. She didn't waver from her belief in it, and I think that's part of why it was so productive as well. The buy-in that we received from her, the way that she went about being a professional, not only, I talk about this all the time through her film and on-court PD, but the way she connected with Ezi, the way she watched Nneka, the questions that she asked. She was the reason why the process was productive as well. And I think where we are now, you see what Dom can do, and there's so much more to tap into. But it was important that we were careful with how we handled her. And I think that she did amazing things. She was in big moments and stretches of the season, and the projection and the way it was just like a train moving through the station, the buildup of it, and where it ended, I think it was very positive.
All right, we'll go to Zoom for a question. Jeff Brown, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, Ezi's offensive production has dropped again this year and has dropped the past 2 years since she was an All-Star in 23. With the emergence of Dom Malonga, if Nneka is also going to be back, where does that kind of leave Ezi?
You're asking me future questions. I don't even know how to answer that because I don't know, how the roster is going to shape out. One thing I do know is we got to put respect on Ezi's name. The year that she was an All-Star, we were not very good, but she held the fort defensively, the offensive production, the three-point shooting, and even at the tail end of the season, she had some really good moments for us. So I know that players go through ups and downs of, in a season and sometimes in their career, but Ezi has been solid on the defensive end. She's been a solid teammate. She's been very impactful in this organization. And when we're talking about on-court production and X's and O's, I just want to make sure we understand who she's been and how she's been for us before we even jump to next roster or wherever we're talking about. So I'm not sure how to completely answer that without understanding the makeup of what we're going to have. But I just know that we would not be where we are without Ezi.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach. You have a few players going off into play overseas. You have a few players going off to play overseas this season. Do you send them away with a message of what you want them or you think they should work on their game? And have you seen that when they go play overseas, that they come back with a different skill set, a better skill set oftentimes?
Yeah, it also depends on, where they're playing. And I think that is part of the messaging and making sure the overseas team and environment and situation is productive and conducive to getting better. A lot of times, situations overseas, not sure how the resources are, how your development is going to be. You play 1 or 2 games a week, and what do you do in between to fill in that time? And so a lot of time, my conversation with young players is fill those gaps in with getting better, making sure your routine is set, whether it's, weight room, PD work, even the film work. It's easy to go one way or the other overseas. You can lock in and get better. Sometimes you can get complacent depending on your situation. It is player based. I'm not sure, like I said, how environments are going to be there, but the messaging is you're preparing for the journey. You're preparing to be a good player, not only in your overseas situation, but you're preparing for the W as well. So we have overseas, we got Unrivaled, we got AU, we have all of these leagues in the off season, and the importance of that is the development of skill set. And sometimes, yeah, you do see players come back with, confidence knowing that they played well overseas. And sometimes you see players come back and develop bad habits. And so, the messaging is to make sure you're locking into good habits, good routines, and staying locked in and focused to growth.
Hey there. Hey, just after the season, just with everything that you've accomplished and heading into year sort of 15 in a few months. I don't know if you've had chance to really kind of think about that though, but what's kind of next for you? Like you've been an MVP in this league, you've been a champion, you've been a 10-time All-Star. Just what's kind of, and you're in like top 10 in almost every record imaginable. What's going to be the thing that'll be driving you this offseason? What is the next step for you?
Oh, I mean, I can't always, see the future and know what the next step is, but what keeps me going every day is just to be great, to win, to just be my best. I think that that's kind of always been what I do, and with that comes different levels of accomplishment. I still have gas in the tank, so I want to make sure that I can use it in a way that suits my health, that suits how I want to be great. A lot of that is about winning, and hopefully just continuing to do what I love. I can't really say that I have a list of things that I'm trying to get to, but I still feel good, and I'm very grateful.
Nneka, you haven't played overseas or off-season basketball since like 2019. Will that be the case again this off-season? And then if so, just why does that continue to be sort of the best option for you personally, even with options like Unrivaled now out there?
Yeah, for me, it wasn't by choice that I stopped playing overseas. We experienced, the global pandemic. I was actually signed to go back to China. And after that, the world looked a little bit different. So it was kind of tough to find opportunities that felt familiar, And so with that, I just kind of tapped a little bit more into the off-court opportunities, definitely into my responsibilities as president. And ultimately, I've been able to find a groove. And with that, I'm not planning on playing in any leagues in this off season. I am 35, 14 years in. As much as I love and support a lot of these great options for players to be able to not only continue to compete, but to be compensated more towards their value. I think for me, it's just not for me because of the tread on these tires. But, I'm always going to be down there supporting whatever league it is. So I'm just, my main goal this year, actually, the one goal that I did write down was to be available, healthy, and play in every game of this season. And so I'm really glad that I was able to achieve that.
Nneka, are you able at this point to think about free agency and what it's going to maybe look like, especially in this unusual situation where two new expansion teams and basically everybody, because of the CBA being a free agent?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of layers to us being able to get to a conversation around free agency. I am currently thinking about rest and rejuvenation, but then also it's not lost on me that I get to tap into more of these meetings with us negotiating our CBA. I really don't. It's amazing that we have expansion. It's amazing that we're seeing so much success, but we can't really imagine any of that until after the CBA is negotiated and appropriately so based on the terms of these players.
You could probably answer this, spend all the minimal time we have with you, but thoughts on last, just the season, obviously in a positive way, but what do you take away? What are some of the things that'll make you move forward in what you described?
I mean, this season we saw a lot of excitement around the movement, of different players, namely us being able to bring in who I think is going to be a phenom in Dominique Malonga, us being able to have a little bit of a core back and build off of that, some returners coming, some familiar faces. And then, of course, as natural as it is in the course of the season, you have player movement. I think that what we felt in the beginning was real, us being able to compete and to perform at a really high level. Where it got lost, though, we were able to kind of find a little bit of it towards the end of the season. Maybe not as consistently as we had wanted to, but I'm still grateful for what we were able to accomplish together. And for us to be honest, like we were relatively healthy most of the season, and that's unheard of, especially with the limited roster size that we currently have, and with the increase and the uptick of cadence of game. So there's a lot to. I think I'm still kind of reflecting, but I'm still very grateful for the environment that we were able to play in here in Seattle. It is unmatched. The fans are unrelenting, and we were able to kind of have a bittersweet taste in our mouth with that last home game. Obviously the series didn't go how we wanted, but that last home game to me was consummate of exactly what what the season was like. Yeah.
Nneka, you've obviously played with some great post players in your career. Just curious, over the last few years, what you've seen from Ezi. I know it hasn't been the offensive years she's wanted these last two, but obviously she's still an integral part of this franchise.
Ezi, she is someone who is so consistently herself, both on and off the court. She appears to be unfazed by whatever assignment or responsibility, is put upon her. And she gets a lot of, especially defensively, a lot of the heavy defensive assignments. But she has a way of just always finding a path towards being herself and showing what she's capable of. I have an amazing relationship. I hopefully she says the same thing, but I feel like I have an amazing relationship with Ezi. She's truly like another little sister that I have in my life now. And she's both gracious and ferocious. And I just try to remind her of that every single day. And I really do feel like, she just needs to get a little bit of rest and tap into, because I talked to her early in the season about, kind of like the phases of your career. You're a rookie, no one really knows, no one has a scouting report on you. And then, the second year is kind of hard as hell because now everybody knows what you can do. And then through that, you kind of mature. You have different primes of your season, or sorry, of your career. And she was the age where I was trying to figure out myself as well. And I was just letting her know, like, not to be too hard on herself, and that there's always opportunity to reinvent yourself as a player and as a person, but then also not to get lost on expectations of what you think you should be doing, because she really was the anchor of a lot of what we did this year. And I really hope she feels that.
We'll take a few questions from Zoom. Roberta, go ahead.
Hi, Nneka. Recently, in that press conference with the WNBPA and the Democratic Women Caucus, you mentioned that it's really 7, if not all 13 teams that the PA is having to try a little harder to convince about the request for the CBA. That takes me back to when charter flights were implemented yet, and we heard some owners talking about was either for money. Others even said that we don't want to start now and get players used to it. What are you hearing from owners, and what do you think it's going to take to convince them, not really convince, but to get them to give the players what they deserve?
I mean, the most conversation that I've had with owners was in our meeting at All-Star. So since then, I haven't had conversations with any owners, but our PA staff is obviously in talks, more often than we are, because obviously the season was going on. But I think it's going to just it's going to be an evolving conversation. Players are seeking an innovative, and I guess not really innovative because other leagues do it, but players are seeking a new salary structure, salary system, and we're very serious about it. So as I've now kind of phased out of my season this year, I'm going to be able to be in hopefully more meetings and more conversations to ensure that what the players are seeking in these negotiations is reflected in the new CBA.
Thank you.
Last question will go to Jeff on Zoom. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Nneka, after game 3 post game, you had mentioned the Storm ownership group had like a conversation either with you or with you guys. I don't know if that happened after game 3 or before, but can you just kind of summarize maybe what was said during that?
It must have been after game 3. Okay, after they came in the locker room. Okay, yeah. So yes, the engagement from this ownership group is unmatched, quite frankly. We see them every day. They're involved every day. They invest. They ask us what we need. They pour into this organization. And that, as you all know, is something that I said really drew me to Seattle. And so after the game, obviously it didn't end up how we wanted, but it was imparted upon us that, we were still a part of a legacy, considering that I think Brum said that we had made playoffs 78% of the time, I think, since the existence of this team. And for us to be able to, especially considering our record after the All-Star, we were still able to make playoffs. We were still able to compete down to the wire to advance in the playoffs. And I felt a sense of pride. It's honorable to be able to wear this jersey and to be able to represent this organization and to be able to play in this city. So I'm just very grateful for the time that I've been able to have, continuing to build, on my career, and to be a part of a great legacy. So I'm very grateful to them, and I feel like my teammates were too, even though, the season didn't end how we wanted. But I wouldn't have done it with any other group.
Thank you.
Hey, congratulations on the year 7, 6, 7. I don't know. Yeah, 7. Hey, just what in the All-Star. So what sort of led into, or what were the factors for the breakout season for you? And then post All-Star, were you dealing with something? Was it an ankle, or was it just the fatigue of a long 44 game season?
Yeah, I think I came into the season like in incredible shape. Excited about the new year, I think second part of the season, yeah, there's a lot of minutes that were being played. I think there was some wear and tear on my body for sure. So I'm happy to have some time, some weeks to just like get physically, better and healthy. Yeah, there's the elephant in the room was, the downfall of the second half of the season for me. But there's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of everything. Maybe there's some burnout there. I haven't stopped in a long time, so it's normal. This was a very new experience for me this year. And Nneka said in the locker room the best. She said, like, experience is the best teacher. So just finding a way to last longer, in these kinds of seasons.
Am I, first of all, correct? And you're going to play for Fenerbahce again this offseason?
Correct.
So just, taking into account then that the season was long and maybe there was a bit of burnout, how are you hoping to manage going straight into that off, hoping to get out of playing over there this offseason?
Fenner, luckily, we've talked when I left last season, and it was very clear that, they saw what my body looked like, and they knew that wasn't going to be possible for me to keep going again. Last year, I think I waited 2 or 3 days to go right and play the Super Cup. This year, they're going to give me some weeks to take care of everything that I needed to take care of physically, so that way I can be fresh and be my best for them this year.
A lot of variables between now and free agency, but curious, based on sort of your experience this past year with the Storm, if the core player is still an option for you, is that something you would feel comfortable with given your relationship with this organization?
In my head, that's a bit far to think of right now. Right now, priority is just getting, physically healthy, focusing on my season with Fenner, seeing what happens with our CBA. And so free agency isn't necessarily on like the top of my list right now to be thinking about.
Without getting too personal, in those 3 weeks that you kind of wrapped, where do you go? I mean, what are the things that help you kind of, leave this season behind and then begin the one with Fenerbahce? Without getting too personal, I mean.
Oh, it's not personal. I mean, it's a lot of players have been doing this for decades, going from one season to the next. I'm not doing anything new. I think it's just kind of been in a habit of it. I have come late to seasons in Europe as well, because I needed to get, my knee worked on and everything. So just taking it day by day, not skipping any steps, saying just, I can't be good for Fenner. I can't be good for anyone if I'm not healthy. So right now, just focusing on my health.
Gabby, obviously you've been very complimentary of this organization in years past about how you've been treated, right? Just being here the whole year, can you speak to what the entire experience was like? Because obviously, as you mentioned, you've come in late and it's different, but just having the whole year here, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was nice to feel home for sure. I talked about this early in the year where it was just nice to like not have to unpack my suitcase, be in this amazing facility the entire year. Yeah, it just felt nice to just get into a rhythm. I think that's also what helped me have the season I did, was that there was a lot less that I had to think about except for basketball.
Zoom, Andrew Jones, go ahead.
Thanks as always, Gabby. It was a milestone season for you in terms of your first All-Star appearance and you growing as a leader, where especially in God and Dom, especially in terms of being vocal when she needed to play better, or as well as just being a leader in general. You talk about your growth as a leader this season and how you become even more of a vocal force as you are on the court.
Yeah, having Dom here, just trying to tell her all the things that I wish were said to me my rookie year, or just, rookie years are tough, and just seeing the way she blossomed in it felt like, yeah, just really proud of her, just really excited to see what her journey was going to be, and I'm happy that I just get to play a part in it. I hope she feels that I helped her. She'll be coming to Turkey with me this summer, this off season too, to play in Fenner. So excited to just keep watching her grow and just become the superstar that she's going to be.
Hey, Gabby, as you mentioned, Dom's going to be traveling with you to Turkey. What is your message for her to kind of manage her off season into the new season that you've kind of been dealing with yourself? What's your message for Dom to kind of come out of that successfully?
Yeah, this will be new for her, playing in the summer. I'm going to encourage her to to be honest about her body and take rest when she needs it. Making sure that, and I don't really need to. She's learned very much how to be a pro this summer with us. I think the most thing I would say is just helping her through, doing an entire year away from your family. That part is going to be new for her. I think it'll help that we have a lot of French-speaking people too as well on Fenner and on the staff. So I think that'll be good for her to feel a little like piece of home. But yeah, just encourage her to focus on that aspect of life because I think that's the toughest part when you start playing overseas. Thank you.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Good, and you?
Hey, congratulations on the
Guys, let me get it out.
All right. Sorry. Hey, you've gone on record in saying that you want to retire here. Just what is it in like your 2 years here? What is it about the city? What is it about this franchise that you've endeared to?
Even before I got here, people always talk about wanting a NBA team or whatever the case may be, but the support for women in sport, ever since I can remember this franchise, the atmosphere has been electric. Watching as a fan, playing as an opponent, every time we came here and faced Seattle, I've spent All-Stars here and just see how this is such a sports town. But I think just the support, particularly in this time in my career too, where I was coming off my daughter and coming off maternity leave and just kind of uncertain of if I could play at a high level again or just what that would look like for me. It's not a big sample size on how to do that. But the city just really, the whole situation being in Seattle, it's been breathing life into me, into my career, and just gave me a renewed sense of a passion for the game, a love for the game, competing at a high level, and obviously the expectation, and that's something that doesn't fall short on our minds and how we prepare every day. The resources here from this organization is first class, and I've loved every experience, being a part of the city, me and my kids out and about, just really embracing the city of Seattle in the off season, spending a lot of time here. And so I still feel the same way. I don't want to retire this year, if that means anything. Obviously, it's a lot of factors, and every team I've been on has been different since I came into this league. And so I understand that will also be the situation next year. But for me, where I'm at this point in my career, I've loved my experience, the fans, how they've embraced us, and walking Trader Joe's, wherever you at, you see, hey, you see the shirts, and they always show love. So yeah, I really enjoy my experience and my time here so far, being in Seattle.
Talking about obviously game 3, not the final result you guys wanted, but a few days removed now. Just how do you feel about that series, your personal and team performance, and pushing Vegas to the final possession in that game?
I don't know yet. I think it's a lot to unload, a lot to unpack. I've experienced a very wide spectrum range of emotions. After game 1, we had a conversation. I was just talking to a few of my teammates, and I said, are we afraid of them? Because if you're scared of them, it's nothing that you could really overcome physically if we can't get over that mentally. And we're like, no. And so I think as the series went on, and at game 2, they won however many games in a row. I don't think a lot of people thought we could win, and I spoke to this. But I think after we won game 2, we were expecting to win game 3. And it wasn't just us trying to get a participation trophy or just to go out there and make it respectable. We really felt like, we kind of understood it now, and how to approach. And we liked our start and all the things we talked about. And, in the game, I've been in this game a long time. Only 2 things can happen when you compete. You either win or lose, and somebody has to move on. And so I'm not a moral victories gal. You guys have come to learn me in the last few years at least. I wanted to win, and I expected us to win. And I think that just speaks to all the talent I've talked about us having, our capabilities to push a team like that. I mean, to the very last possession, considering it was questions surrounding if we'd even be able to be in that position. So obviously it was very, I thought it was the most exciting series But we see in the playoffs, anything could happen. But I think it alludes to the talent that I spoke with that this team has, our capabilities there, and just falling really one rebound short of moving on. And so we lost to a respectable opponent. For us, it doesn't take away that feeling. When you don't win the last game of the season, you always feel the same way.
Based on your answer to Percy's question, do you want to be involved in sort of the, ownership and front office plan of the off season? Do you want to be out there helping recruit your teammates to come back with everybody going into free agency?
I want us to have a CBA. Because there's no expansion draft, there's no expansion teams, there's no next year if we don't have a CBA. And so honestly, not even being facetious, Kevin, like that's exactly what I want us to hone in on and focus on before we can have those conversations. And obviously I'll cross paths with a lot of people this off season, a lot of players this off season. But my mentality hasn't shifted. I haven't even thought about the possibilities there, but obviously locking in that CBA would be nice to know that we even have a season, to look forward to next year. And I think we're all just kind of playing it by ear from there.
You talked about this season breathed life into you, the relationship with the club and the fans. What did you learn about yourself in a season that, this season, something that you learned about yourself, just whether you knew it was there or you wasn't there?
I think it's just more about improving myself than proving myself to others. I've always been an overcomer, and I thought more so now than ever. I'll just say that. And so it's a lot of nuances to approaching this season. First of all, being in this league for as long as I've been in this league and still competing at a high level, knowing that I can play for as long as I want to, because I know nobody's going to push my work ethic, and challenge my work ethic there. So I knew I was an overcomer. I knew I had a lot of resiliency, just really leaning on my support system this year. I knew I had a strong support system too. So it's reiterated a lot of things I knew about myself. And so, yeah, I am proud of myself. Every time I'm able to complete a season, I'm proud of myself. And it was a lot of factors this year that came into things, but ultimately, always had the support of the organization, always had the support of the coaching staff, always had the support of my teammates. And, for the most part, always felt like I had the support of anybody that showed up and was a supporter of the Seattle Storm. And so, I did learn a lot. I confirmed a lot of things I already knew about myself. So appreciate that. Yeah.
Last question, we'll go to Jeff on Zoom. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Skylar, I know you talked about the CBA and stuff being the high priority first, but just kind of, if you can, look ahead a little bit, like thinking about next year, Dom Malonga in year 2, you guys are guaranteed a top 5 lottery pick. What do you kind of think is the team needs to push you guys into that next level to, get further in the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. It is the way too early question to answer. It's a lot of things to think about before then, and we'll just have to see how that goes. Obviously, we know the potential of Dom. We got to see her in stretches this year and what she can do, and she'll be the face of this organization for a very long time. And so, we'll see what happens with college and how we fare there and the pick. And it's 100,000 factors. And then what everybody else does and decides to do. I'm only one piece of that pie. I would like to try to keep our core together. But those decisions are above me. You know what I'm saying? Players play, and this offseason, I just look forward to, taking care of myself, getting myself back to 100%. And being able to get better. And so that's what I'm thinking about immediately.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, congrats on year 6 for you. I do know that. I got the other one wrong. Hey, just as the longest tenured sort of player here, with continuous tenure player here, you've seen this franchise when it's won championships, when it's at its totally best. What wasn't quite there this year? Did you guys squeeze, again, all of the juice out of this orange? And what was it this year that, again, you've seen you guys when you've won championships?
I think that's kind of like
I guess, for lack of a better word, the beauty of a season. I think, anything can happen any given year, and I feel like we just never really, I guess, found a consistent groove this season. And we know what we're capable of. We know like the talent that we have on the team, and so just trying to find that. Obviously, a big goal was to make the playoffs, and we were able to do that. And so just definitely proud of the team for doing that. But obviously not completely satisfied with the run, and I think I could speak for everyone when we say that. But just I think just probably trying to find a groove consistently was something that we were struggling to do.
As a year, obviously a free agent this offseason, I know the CBA affected a lot of players not signing past this season. But are you hoping to return to Seattle, or what are you looking for in free agency conversations once there is a new CBA?
Just I think, obviously continuing to have conversations. It's crazy to think that I've been here for 6 years, getting drafted as a 19-year-old, and then coming when I was 20 is, something that a lot of people dream of, and I've been able to experience that, and just to be able to kind of grow up in Seattle as well. That's been something that's been really special to me. So just being able to go through the free agency process. So many people are free agents, which is also crazy to think. It's going to be exciting with the new CBA and to see how the league will look. I think just what I need to do a better job of is reflecting on seasons, and so I think that's what I'm going to do. Just postseason, reflect, and just go from there.
In the final game against Vegas, we finally saw at the end of that game you out there with Nneka and Dom, which is something that fans have kind of, I think, been talking about throughout the season, wondering whether that might be something that could work. Have you had any conversations about that? Have you thought about that as possibly part of the future?
Definitely thought about it. I think, obviously Dom, Nneka, and I are tall. And so just, I think it's exciting to see the versatility in each of us, and to see that lineup. Obviously in the final game was pretty cool. I love playing with Dom, I love playing with Nneka, and so if there's ever a situation where there's a possibility to have all three of us on court, I think that's really exciting, defensively and offensively as well.
Your big sister says that Nneka said that you were both. I just want to make sure.
It's okay. My sister was just here in Seattle. I was like, what'd she say?
Well, she didn't talk to us, but anyways, your big sister, your basketball big sister, said you are both gracious and ferocious. Can you take us to a little bit inside of ferocious Ezi, because we don't ever see that?
Yeah, not a lot of people do. I don't know why. I feel like it's just my demeanor to be kind of like even killed externally. I feel like the ferociousness is probably happening internally, and I feel like just when I'm with people every day for 6 months, they probably see that, and so I feel like that's probably something Nneka is talking about. But I don't know. It's definitely in me. I know I don't always show, like if I have a big block, or if someone has a big play, I know I don't always show how hype I am. But basketball's a competitive sport, and so I think it's inevitable that it brings that out of you. Just know it's in there.
Ezzy, to kind of build off of that, and what Nneka said about you, she said you always kind of go back to being yourself. You're always, in your own self. Can you speak to, the relationship with her that you've had these last few seasons, having, as she said, like a big sister in that regard, just playing with Nneka? Can you speak to that?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I'm sorry. I just think when you're able to play with great players, it's really special. But when you're able to play with great people as well, that's not something that everyone gets to experience. And so I've just been really fortunate to be able to play with Nneka these past couple of seasons, and just to be able to learn from her, see how she goes about the day-to-day. It's incredible, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before. And just the way that she's able to uplift players and uplift me, I think, specifically, and not in a way that's like rah rah, like she just gets me. And I feel like, when you have a player like that, you want to meet them where they're at. And so whether I tell her enough or not, I feel like Nneka's had such a huge impact on my career the last couple of years. And yeah, I just love her as a person, as a player, as a friend, as a sister. And yeah.
All right, we'll go to Zoom for a few questions. Jeff Brown, go ahead.
Hi, Ezi. That's tough to follow up, but so it was a little bit of a down offensive season for you, but it's not a lack of talent. I see you scoring 30 points in the Olympics and stuff. Uh, would you like to take on more offensive responsibility within this team?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think my probably defensive game is something that's um, more talked about probably, especially this past season. Um, but I feel like, obviously, like you said, my offensive game is there. I think just being able to, um, find, I guess, my role in a particular team, and whether that's um, being more dominant offensively, I think that's something that I, would obviously want to do. But, being able to play with Nneka, with Sky, with Gabby, with so many offensive threats, um, you obviously could just try to find, where you fit in that. And so, sorry, I just blanked out. But yeah, I think offensively, it's something I'm always trying to grow my game in. And so I definitely, want to remain consistent with that and grow my game offensively and just be confident in that.
Thank you.
Hey, Ezi, thanks for spending time with us. What does the off season look for you? And more specifically, what do you intend to improve on in your game?
Yeah, off season, I am not going back to Europe this year, so I'm going to take some time off. I think just going back to back seasons has been a lot the last few years, and so just taking time to kind of reset, spend time at home with my family, which I'm really excited about, and yeah, so it won't be completely off, but I think just being able to take a break from the back to back 4 seasons in Europe is something that's on the horizon. And in terms of what I'm looking to get better at, I think just a lot of things. I think just obviously growing that, like we were talking about, offensive game, being able to continue my development on the perimeter as well, defensively. I think just, that confidence piece as well, and just knowing that I'm in like certain situations for a reason, and I kind of deserve to be in those spaces. And so I think the mental side of basketball is very important. And so looking to just continue to grow that.
All right, last question. We'll go to Zoom. Christian, go ahead.
Yes. There's been a lot of talk about your offensive game not really being there and just kind of the production kind of lacking compared to last year, right? But I think a lot of things that kind of get lost in translation is also just like game plan, kind of how teams guard you. Also, just sharing the ball with like four different all-stars, future Hall of Famers. Like we've seen your game blossom when you know what you can do. Sometimes it's just kind of like how the game dictates and what it calls for. Do you feel like that's how it's been more so this season? Because last year, I mean, you and Nneka were used more of like hubs kind of around the 10, 15-foot range around the free throw line. So it's like that's kind of changed this year. I'm just kind of wondering, how do you feel this season? And also, like, can't really remember, it feels like a month and a half ago, coach said that like you weren't really up to yourself. Like maybe you were still like nursing an injury, possibly. She didn't really go into detail, right? I'm not necessarily asking you, just like, do you think that played into this year as well?
Yeah, I think, like seasons change. And yeah, I think last year, obviously, offensively, I was producing a little more. And I think just with the way our offense was this year, it changed. And so just being able to, still find pockets to perform and make an impact offensively, whether that's, putting myself in actions, or I think I could have rebounded the ball better this season as well, and just being able to create from that. And so I think just being able to be versatile and, when I push the ball in transition, I think that's when we play in transition, that's when we play our best basketball. So just being able to create and, find pockets and moments. You don't always need to get shots created for you. But I think what makes players great is just being able to, find moments and ways to impact the team in other ways as well.
Thank you.
See, not everything is all light. Nobody's tight. We good. It's a joke. No, you good. You good, man. Come on.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing.
Hey, just to like that right there. How did you find a home here? I mean, like, how did you find a community here? Because it feels that like if we can throw out titles that with Nneka she's this and Sky she's this, you feel like that you're like the soul of the whole deal. So like, how did you do that in just what 5 months or so?
I think the world feed off energy, and I think people see me as a good person before a basketball player, and I pride myself on that. And I think that's what Seattle felt, that I'm a genuine, energetic human being. So I pride myself on that, just from the way I play, from the way I interact with fans, from me adopting a whole dance team without them even asking anything. I think Seattle thrives off that because it's a family community, and everybody know that E is family. You know what I mean? Anything I do, I never want to do anything by myself. Even when I'm with you guys, I never take credit by myself. It's always a team effort. So I think Seattle just fell in love with me just always trying to bring things together. Connector in chief.
You sort of alluded to it. You became quite a fan favorite. I'm sure many fans would hope you would return, but you are entering free agency. Do you also hope to return to Seattle, and what are you looking for in this uncertain free agency?
Honestly, I don't know what the CBA gonna look like. I think that determines everything. Seattle do have dibs. I will say Seattle have dibs because of how I was embraced. Talisa was honest from the beginning. Noe was honest from the beginning, and I can appreciate that. Nothing was hidden. But it's really just about what the CBA looks like. And then we can kind of go from there. I don't know what's going to be thrown at me. I'm sure it's going to be a bunch of curveballs that we all going to try to learn through, because it's going to be everything is new. Even my agent is still asking me. I said, dude, don't even ask me about no basketball right now. I don't want to talk about no basketball. But I think that Seattle definitely has. They up there.
You touched on it a little bit, but can you expand on just the fan base here and the love they showed? Obviously, Seattle's had a great showing for the Storm for years, but just the crowds that they showed you, you obviously embraced that several times. Can you speak further to the fan base and the crowds that you experienced here?
I was asked after the game if the game that we played was in Seattle, would we have won the game? In that moment, I couldn't answer that correctly because I was still pissed off, but I know I still have a job to do to come, and still talk to the press and still talk about things I don't want to talk about, even in emotional state. And to answer that question, if we was in Seattle, we probably would have won that game because our sixth man has been showing up for us all season. The game before we left to go to Vegas was probably, outside of my All-Star MVP game, that was probably a more insane game. And not even the game winner when we played. That game it didn't feel how us beating Vegas to go back to Vegas for game 3, that was probably number 2 on my all-time basketball experience, being able to be in some fire. That was some great basketball. And it goes to the fans. I think that we feed off the fans. They know how to get us rowdy. I know what to do to get them going. But the fans here are amazing. And it's not just when we're here playing on social media. They support us tremendously. Even when I'm in a grocery store, you can see that, I'm from Miami. We're aggressive. If they see somebody we like or know, we go, hey, how you doing? Seattle, they gonna just look and they go, hey, excuse me, are you Erica Willer? You know I'm Erica Willer. You know what I mean? So they're super nice, and I like the respect that they give us as players. Like, they respect us. They see us as top of the line athletes, and that's what I love the most about Seattle. Like, they respect what we do.
Apologies on behalf of passive aggressive Seattleites. Do you feel like you proved something to the league about what you can contribute at this stage of your career?
I don't even think it was about the lead. It was more so about me. This me coming to Seattle was to show what I can do. I mean, betting on myself because I could have Dallas, LA was other options and way more money, and it wasn't about the money. It was about me reinventing myself and being able to be in Indiana and not really play. And the world is talking about how I'm washed up and things like that. So it wasn't about anybody else. It was about me betting on myself, being able to be in a position um, to be in the playoffs. And we did that. That's credit to my coaches and my teammates being able to have my back in moments where, it could have got ugly, but it didn't. So I think it was more so just for me to get back to who I am and what I can do. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was about to call it quits last year because I didn't play, but a very smart person of mine that I know say, yeah, no, you're not done. And I think that's what I showed the world.
Seems like you kind of answered this, but my question was going to be: it's not easy to be high energetic and
Mhm.
be the emulsifier. How are you able to do it? It's not easy. People think it's easy, but how are you able to do that?
I think naturally it's in me. Like I don't drink coffee. I don't need caffeine. I don't have any of those things. But the one question people always ask me, they don't ask me how am I so energetic? They ask me, am I like that all the time? And I'm not. When I'm home, it is quiet. I'm watching TV shows that I watch cop TV shows like Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. It has nothing to do with nothing. It's not exciting. It's not like it's more so like along the line of helping people. But I think the energy part just come from my mom. My family is like that. If you're around my family, look at my dad. He's my godfather. He's not my real dad, but even him, like we just energetic people. We want to be able to give out good to the world at all times. Like my main thing is when anytime somebody meet me, I want to leave an impression of they felt my presence versus what I said to them. Like I don't like I can say a lot of things and I may not mean it, but my energy not gonna ever lie. It's gonna always tell the truth. So I always just try to give off genuine, caring energy to let people know, like, yeah, I'm a basketball player, but at the end of the day, I'm human too. Like I bleed the same way you bleed. I'm not above neither, but nobody in this room. We all equal when it comes to that. So I always try to give that, and that's where my energy comes from. Being able to just be able to be hype. Where it comes from sometimes I don't know, because sometimes I don't want to do it, but I know it's my job. Yeah.
I think it's that energy that makes you a good teammate. So congratulations for that.
Thank
And
you.
speaking of you being a good teammate, you was at the All-Star game with your 3, 4, 5 jersey. Did you get that jersey signed?
Come on now. You knew I was not getting that jersey signed. What? Nah, I ended up washing it in. Sky Nneka and Gabby definitely signed it. It's definitely gonna go in my basement. That was I'm proud of that moment right there. I showed out in All Star. I'm not gonna lie. Nobody else, teammates, they just came dressed regular, and I was just like, no, I gotta represent. It's 3 of them. It was Gabby first one, and then 3, 4, 5, like the numbers. It was just so much into that whole ordeal. I had to come correct, and I think I did.
All right, last question. We'll go to Jeff on Zoom.
Hey, E, yeah, just talk to me about both how special this season in totality was, but also the series against Las Vegas, just how, obviously didn't go your guys' way, but just how like great basketball, good competitive basketball that series was.
What are you asking me right now? I know
Well,
it's competitive. What are you asking me?
yeah, just no, like I guess just talk about it. Like, I assume you still like enjoyed it, had great moments, had fun playing in a series that's competitive.
Oh, 1000%. You always want to play against the best of the best, and Asia Wilson is hands down probably gonna be one of the best basketball players in the world. And then they won championships. So for me, I wouldn't have had it any other way. Just being able to play the best of the best. It was exciting basketball. I haven't been into the playoffs in this long of a stretch. My first time was in 2016 when that elimination round, so I never really had the experience of the best of 3. Last year was in the playoffs with Indy, but I didn't play, so I didn't know what the preparation was like, the feel, being able to go to sleep, brain still going, not want to do things outside what you normally do. It's so much superstitions that come with preparing for these games because you can look back and be like, dang, I should have did this different. I shouldn't have done that because I normally don't do that. So it's just like the discipline that you have to have preparing for these games is out this world because you don't ever want to make a mistake and blame it on something later on. But for me, I prepared myself in the best way I can. And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. I'd probably take that same shot again. And the preparation leading up to that game, I'd probably do the same thing, everything. I would not change a step.
Thank you.
Hey, Dom, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, earlier today, it was Nneka who said that you're the future of this franchise. When you hear something like that, when like a veteran like her say that you're the face of the franchise, what do you think about that? And what things will you do this offseason to like get better for like next year?
I think it's great. When I got drafted here, I think it was just to build something out of it. And the year that I spent this my rookie year, sorry, was just amazing. And so I don't see myself anywhere else now. I can't wait to be next season and the seasons that's still ahead of me to keep growing with this organization, because all the person here just welcomed me so well, from the teammates to the coaching staff to the to all the organization. So I'm just so grateful to I've been able to play for this organization and I can't wait for the years ahead to keep going and keep building with this organization.
We know you're going to play with Gabby at Fenerbahce this offseason. Just what are you looking forward to, and what are you hoping to get out of that experience?
It will be my first EuroLeague season, so I just can't wait to see what's the big European stage looks like. For Fenerbahce, it's a big organization also in Europe, and it's still working with very good professional players, a very good organization around me to keep growing, because I still focus on my growth. I know that I still have a lot of things to learn, and so I would just keep working and be dedicated 100% as I always do. And yeah, looking forward for this EuroLeague season to be my best.
We'll take a question from Zoom. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Dom, just kind of wondering, has it really hit you that you were in a playoff matchup going one-on-one with the three-time MVP, Asia Wilson, and also, in game 2, you had the game-winning basket, just all of that experience. Can you talk about that experience in the playoffs and like how much you're growing from that?
Yeah, it was an amazing series for us in general. I would say my matchups against Asia was a great matchup for me, because I think I learned so much in those few minutes that I spent defending her. I always say that no matter the opponent, I would just go and give my 100%, and that's what I try to do. It was a lot of preparation for sure. When you go against the three-time MVP, you got to be prepared. So I try to be prepared as much as I could. Whatever was the ending for us, I was just so proud to be able to bring to help my team to go through game 2 and then even game 3 that we still fight. And so I'm just very happy to have been part of this amazing series, because I think I told my teammates game 2 was maybe one of the best game of my life in terms of emotion, in terms of what I felt, and it really was something special, and just, I would keep that memory for forever, and I build on that, because that's the kind of game that just make you grow 2-3 years more in one night. So that's how I felt.
Last question, we'll go to Cam.
Hey, Dom, obviously there's been a lot of transition for you this season. But when you look back at this season with the Seattle Storm, what's your biggest takeaway?
I think it's just being a part of this team. It was an amazing team, amazing human being from day 1 to last day. I mean, everybody was just so good to me, and I couldn't uh, hope for a better environment to grow for me than here. I just feel like I learned so much basketball-wise out of the court. I had amazing vet, I had an amazing teammate, and so I would just take that experience and keep going with it for the next series.
Hey, so congrats on year 9.
Thank you.
I just looked it up. Hey, just wanted to ask you just about the switch, when you go from one team to the next, and especially when a team sort of comes out to come and get you. It seems to say that we're a player away from like that jump. And when you're that player, what is that like? What is it like to like, all right, now, I'm that player, and now you only have like the 17 games. And did you get comfortable with that role?
Yeah, I mean, do I have to talk on this or no? But
Yeah. Try and talk a little bit.
try to talk a little bit. Okay. I was just gonna laugh.
I mean, it's a privilege. I see, like most people, you would hear that, and they see it as pressure, but then it's like pressure is a privilege, right? Because it's the standard that people see you to uphold, and I carry a standard for myself to where I can be in those positions to help teams, and I think helping teams helps myself. Like it helps your value, but when I heard those statements about like them being one player away and then boom, they come and pick me up. I mean, of course you feel good, you know, and in my mind, it was just like, yeah, I'm ready. Like I see who they had on the team. I played against them. Like that's a really hard team to beat. And I just wanted to be a part of that. I always had this kind of like squint with Seattle. Like, you know, I always wondered, I literally just had a conversation with Talisa about it, where it's like I always wondered like what was going on there? Like, what's it like being at Seattle, a championship caliber team, organization, and then this happens and I get to see it for I think what you said, 17 games. 17 games and it just wasn't enough, you know? It wasn't enough, but it was fun and I think even with the outcome that we had, a lot of people get lost in the translation of where we stopped instead of looking at what we accomplished. And I think in those 17 games that I was here, we proved a lot of people wrong in the sense of like we could figure it out. We could get to the playoffs and we almost could beat Vegas to get to the next round, you know? And some people might say almost don't count, but a lot of those people sit at home while we're trying to win the game. So that's my feelings on that.
Building off that a little bit, you had talked about, coming here to play playoff basketball, acknowledging that the final result wasn't what the team wanted. How did that, playing in the playoffs sort of live up to your hopes and expectations?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like you want to win, you want to compete, you want to go out and compete for a championship. I don't know if I'm misquoting myself, but I think that was one of the things that I said, like outside of playoffs, is to compete for a championship. And year 9, it's still not there, but I'm getting closer. And Seattle gave me that chance, and I'm really really grateful for that opportunity. So yeah, we stopped in the first round, but we made playoffs, and we see how getting there was. We fought through that, and I was telling some of my teammates and some of the workers here, like, it's crazy how all this is going down, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Like I'd rather fight to try and get in and stay in and keep competing than to just give into my circumstances and know that like, okay, maybe this year we're not going to playoffs. It's like, nah, forget all that. I'm in year 9. A lot of these years are starting to make me realize like, time is not forever. Like basketball isn't forever. So outside of wanting to dictate when I want the ball to stop dropping, I also know that I don't have control over that. So I just want to make sure that I can get every opportunity I can, and Seattle gave me that this year.
You do have to be careful. Charles Barkley did get misquoted in his own book. But you mentioned 17 games not enough. Is that an indication that as you head into free agency that you want to come back here for a full season?
No, I'm just saying like 17 games isn't enough to truly like get the feel. Like I had 20 plus with Washington, but I also had 3 years with them, whereas I literally only have 17 games in my experience with Seattle. So I think anybody would say that that's not enough to give the type of response or answers that you would probably be looking for. But Seattle is definitely one of those teams that I do see myself having an eye on. It's a free agency year for 95% of this league. So I think any questions going forward about me coming back here or anything like that can be nipped in the bud to the respect of that it's just free agency. And I do appreciate Seattle, and I do look forward to talking to them. But again, like 95% of this league is free agency. So, yeah.
Last question, we'll go to Maz.
I'll take more a holistic question about free agency, not players, not coaches, but what's a good fit for you in terms of, that team without getting specific? I don't want to put you in the spot.
No, I mean, to be totally honest, I think the broad answer for that would just be a place where they're allowing me to use all of my talents and what I bring to the court on the defense and the offensive end, just being able to allow me to just fluidly play that, going into year 10, I always said that I would reevaluate my career and I would reevaluate where I am. And to have made it here, it's pretty cool because not a lot of people get to say that they've made it to year 10 in this league. So for me, what I look for, what I want has changed drastically from when I first came into this league. It was much more about scoring and playing time and, wanting to get the oohs and ahs. And now going into year 10, and it really stopped after year 5, but going into year 10, it's so much more that I'm taking into account: family, lifestyle, way of living, where I'm at. It's not just about basketball anymore. So I think organizations are starting to realize that too. So everybody is going back to the drawing board and they're reiterating and restocking on what it is that they want players to come to their organization for. So it's a give and take, but I really can't give too much of a definite answer because again, it's going into year 10 and a lot of things have changed for me inward and outward. So I'm looking forward to knowing what it is that I do want when it goes into free agency and all those things. Thank you.
Hey, Tiffany, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, just want to ask, just for like you, when you join a team sort of mid-season and you sort of jump into like everything that they're doing, what was that like for you? And was the 23 games, was that enough for you to like get acclimated to like the whole deal?
I mean, I was just grateful for the opportunity. I spoke to, Seattle in free agency after last season, and my route took me to Vegas, and then I was just thankful for the opportunity once that ended to come here and still be able to contribute. It was kind of like a whirlwind, that's kind of how the league is you just gotta, be ready for whatever situation. So again, like I was just, thankful for the opportunity that they still wanted me, and I kind of went from there.
In terms of the off season, are you planning on playing overseas in one of the local leagues? Just what are your plans for the off season?
Just take some time for me. Like I said, the season's kind of been a whirlwind and one that I haven't had in a very long time, or honestly ever. So for me, I'm definitely taking time for myself right now, and then any plans to play after that, I'll figure it out.
How are you sort of thinking about free agency going in this offseason coming off your time here?
Say it again, sorry.
How are you thinking about free agency this offseason coming off your time here?
I mean, just, managing whatever the CBA holds. I know everyone is kind of going into, next season with a clean slate. And yeah, I mean, I definitely want to be around and be a part of that. But I have no idea what that looks like right now. So just, again, just staying ready and just being who I am.
What did this season teach you about yourself? I know it's 23 games, but what did it teach you?
A lot. Like I said, like this season was definitely one I haven't had. Like I've never been waived. I've never went to a team in the middle of the season. So these experiences were different for me, but I also know who I am and I know how I handle, adversity. I mean, I think that people might think that is adversity, but to me, again, it's an opportunity. Like I prepare well. I prepare as if I'm going to play 30 minutes, 40 minutes a game. And that never changes no matter what happens, what team I'm on. So again, like I saw me being waived from Vegas as an opportunity to, just be better. And I took that and I guess, just ran with it. But I don't see that as a lot of adversity. I just wanted to be an opportunity to just, show myself, improve myself even more.
Last question, we'll go to Zoom. Andrew Jones, go ahead.
For you, Tiffany, just being with Noel Quinn in this small stretch of the season and this coaching staff, can you talk about just working with this coaching staff and your experience, what you dealt with since you got here to Seattle?
I mean, it's kind of been all over the place. When I got here, I was playing a lot and then kind of went into not playing at all. So that's difficult to manage mentally, but at the same time, like, again, like I know who I am. I prepare the same way, regardless if I'm going to play playing the game or not playing the game. But yeah, I mean, as far as like the coaching staff, like I have a personal relationship with Pokey, and she coached me when I was in Indiana, so it's easy to talk to her, you know, and kind of figure out my way when I got here. But other than that, I mean, it is what it is. Like that's the W, and that's the nature of the game. That's the nature of this league. Sometimes it's unfortunate for me, but and I wish it would have been different. But again, like I'm extremely grateful that I even had the opportunity to be on this team and be around such great teammates. So I don't really let that come into play when it comes to like the coaching staff and what they did, what they didn't do. You know, being here and with the people is what I'm most concerned about.
Thanks, Seth. Have a good off season.
Yep.
Get your thoughts on like this year. Just like what was it for you to like kind of be in, be out, and sort of was this year a year of growth at all for you?
Yeah, for sure. This is my first time getting traded / waived in the middle of a season. For me going into my third year, that was definitely an adjustment for me. Having to figure out what I'm going to do with that time because I knew I would have opportunity, whether it was somewhere else or here, and I wanted to make sure I was in a gym. So being able to find opportunities to just be in a gym was tough at that time for me. But I had a feeling that I would be back here, so that's why I made sure I stayed in the gym, stayed confident, stayed ready. But I think throughout my whole my career so far within these 3 years, it's been a huge mental test for me. But I just can't let my work ethic waver. Like it has to stay the same. But it has been a little bit tough for me when it comes to that. But it's been a lot of growth too, because it's always growth in any struggle that you have. So I just look at the positives with it.
Just over, what are your off-season plans, whether overseas or here or taking a break?
Oh yeah, so I'm not even sure if I can say where I'm going yet because it's not released. But I'm going overseas and then I'll be doing something in the States as well. So I'm not sitting around for sure.
When did you sort of hear from the Storm that you might be able to come back after the trade, and what were those conversations like?
I mean, of course, I had conversations with my agent. I knew how much Seattle loved me and what happened. It just had to happen. That's the business side of things. And I just knew that it would be an opportunity that if it wasn't here, it would be somewhere else. The conversation I had with my agent made me very sure of that. It was definitely interest. So, yeah.
Andrew, go ahead on Zoom.
Thanks as always. You had a chance to play one of the rare times with the person that you were traded for in the same season. Just your time with Slim Sykes and how you all had that very unique, kind of bizarre experience of that aspect.
Are you asking me how was it playing with Sykes? Is that
Yes, and being a teammate with him.
Yeah, it's been great. Actually, when we played against them, when they came here, I told her man, you should have been an all-star. Like she did amazing. And she's a player that I look up to. I think our game is similar in a lot of ways. And I know I can learn from her in a lot of ways. I did learn a lot from her. And I'm just happy that I'm able to gain those type of relationships. And she's a vet for me that I can call on at any time. So it's definitely been good having her around.
Thanks a lot.
Thank y'all.
Hey, Lexi, how you doing? Hey, you are one of the few veterans in this league that has a guaranteed contract toward going into next season. Just what is that like for you in terms of your off season, and how important was that for you?
Honestly, I don't really want to answer any questions today. I just want to say this one thing. I wrote it down because this season was really hard for me. But the biggest thing for me, my feedback that I've gotten from my friends, family, is that a lot of people think I'm not healthy. I was available for 40-ish of the games this year. I was completely healthy. And if you asked me this time last year if I would make it through an entire WNBA season, I wasn't sure. So that's all, like, for this availability time. I don't have anything to say about the season. I don't have anything to say about basketball, nothing. I just want everyone to know that I'm healthy. I feel great.
and the fact that I was able to show up every day as my best self and do everything I could to earn time on this court was a win for me. And, I just don't think I was given the opportunity I deserved here. And I feel like I have so much basketball left to play. And if that's here, if that's somewhere else, I don't know. But I just want to reiterate the fact that I'm healthy. And I hate the fact that so many people think I'm not and that I'm a liability and I can't make it through a season because I worked my ass off to get back to this level, to be able to compete at this level and to show up every day. And for me to get that feedback all year long was very frustrating. So I just want to use this availability time to just ensure everybody that I'm good. I feel amazing. This is the best my body has felt in 2 years. And moving forward, I hope that I can show everybody the type of player that I was before I got sick and the player that I strive to be in the future because I work really hard at that. And I appreciate you guys for being here and listening and giving me a platform for this. But that is literally all I have to say about this season. So if you had any questions for me, I apologize. But that's all I really wanted to say today, if you guys are okay with that. Thanks Unlimited. Really excited about Tina Charles coming, other WNBA veterans coming, the young players in the W, being the head of the PEC and having Teresa, Sid, Izzy by my side, continuing to grow. Athletes Unlimited is something that has been so special to me. And I don't think we get recognized enough for what we've done for the last 4 or 5 years now. And I think this season for us is going to be really special. So I hope you guys are watching us in Nashville because it's going to be a really, really special season. Okay.
Hey, Mac, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, congrats on the rookie season. Hey, just what did you learn this year, as to what things that you need to do in this league to have an impact, to find your role?
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing I've learned is that, everything that you do matters. It's not just what you do on the court, but how you handle yourself off the court, the work you put in each and every day. I felt like they had trust in me when they brought me back that I would handle my business and work really hard and do everything possible to, create a good culture and a good environment for the team because I spent so much time in the preseason and training camp working really hard. So I just think the fact that, everything that you do matters, how you present yourself matters, how you treat your teammates, all of it's very important in this league.
I know you're going to play for the Venom overseas. Just what is the biggest part of your game you're hoping to work on while over there?
I think it's just getting game reps. I haven't played substantial minutes in a very long time, and I'm aware of that. So I'm looking forward for the opportunity to go to Australia and play for a really great team. I'm excited about the group of girls that I'm going to be joining, and just continue to get minutes, get better, feel comfortable playing again, and just and get confidence knowing that I've learned so much and put in a lot of great work in Seattle these past few months, and looking forward to seeing that come to fruition.
Last question, we'll go to Charles.
Hey, Mac, just wanted to ask you, you mentioned not playing substantial minutes, but even despite it, a lot of the fans noticed you were always so bought in for your teammates on the bench. Just in that regard, I know you did some of the stuff in the community for the Storm as well. Can you speak to just, giving your all to the franchise despite maybe not getting a ton of minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I just go back to, April 2024, saying that I wasn't going to be available to play my rookie season, and the Storm still took a chance on me, and I will be forever grateful for that. I didn't know if I'd ever play basketball again. Didn't know how I'd feel after surgery, but they still were willing to draft me and make that dream come true. So the fact that they were able to do that for me, I want to do whatever I can to give back to the Storm, to show them that, this is a franchise that I really wanted to be a part of, and that, I really care about the girls in the locker room, the staff in the office. So I think it was easy because they did a lot for me. So it's easy for me to give back and do whatever I can to make this franchise better. Thank you.
recovery going? Because obviously we haven't talked to you in a while there, so just want to know that. And just what are your off-season plans? Are you able to play competitively at all?
So my rehab is going great. I'm about 4 months from surgery, and I'm progressing really well. I'm not rushing to get anything. It would be really, really close to try to make it back for any leagues this off season. So my main goal is to just be 100% and really confident going into next season.
Yeah, I guess just first off, how are you feeling physically at this point in the rehab process? And then as you sort of think ahead to free agency, like, how are you approaching that after, kind of an unusual situation where you signed with the Storm, but weren't actually able to get on the court?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. I feel like my process has been pretty smooth, progressing day by day, week by week. I haven't had really any setbacks, so I've been good physically and mentally, which has been a huge thing for me during this recovery process. But yeah, like you said, it's an interesting situation going into free agency. I very much was looking forward to being with this team and being a part of this group, and so ideally, I would still like to be and do that. And so I'm excited to see what the offseason brings, but my main focus is just getting healthy so that I can be back to where I was playing.
You kind of mentioned it a little bit, but I wonder if you just expand on just the mental part of recovery, and then trying to not worry about where you're going to go next. Just tell our people.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that, having such a long injury process like this, my sister is going through not the same injury, but something similar, like a long, grueling process of, it's just day by day, not putting, for me, I haven't put too many like hard expectations on myself to get to certain things or need to score certain things on testing. And because I've just taken it like whatever comes my way, and as long as I feel good and listen to myself, I feel like that's accelerated my process even to an extent where I've felt really great, and I'm able to move around, and I still have big milestones ahead. I'm not doing really, anything. I joke around that I could go out there, but I definitely couldn't. But yeah, it's been a process. It's been helpful for me to be around and be still part of the team. That's something that was really big for me, and I think that helped a lot in the process. I think just, having goals and people that support you with you the whole time.
Last question, we'll go to Zoom. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Lou, whenever like the coaches or kind of the organization is talking about you, it definitely to me indicates that they have you plan for the future, into next year and stuff. Is that the impression you get? And then also kind of two-parter, just your whole experience, like being on the bench, obviously not being able to go into the games, but just whether it was like trying to help coach or encourage your teammates. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I have had quite the career where I've never been able to be in a spot for multiple years. I was pregnant in LA my second year there, so I would love some consistency. I would love to be here. This organization has been amazing through my from the day I got injured, about having my back and having just seeing me through this process. And that's something that's like really important to me and really important as a professional, having that support and knowing there's people that are just in your corner. And so I'm forever grateful for that for them. I'm also very aware of, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what decisions will be made, but I have loved being here this year. I would love to continue to grow on that and go from there.